Hi fam, I am Chef Leah Delyte DiBernardo. Welcome to At the Table, our new weekly podcast where we invite thought-provoking guests to gather around the table to talk about good food, community, and everything in between. My pup Remy and I are happy you're here. We are at the table and I am Chef Leah Delyte, and this is our very first podcast. And I'm really excited to be here because I'm really excited to be here with this amazing, beautiful woman who's sitting across from me, who is our show producer. This woman has inspired me. She's lifted me up. She got me to do this podcast because she knows that I have a voice and I have so much to say. So much to say. And her name is Mari Fuentes. And as I said, she's our show producer. And this is our very first episode. And
how crazy is that?
It's crazy after all these years because we have said for 20 years.
At least. Yeah.
We got to do this. We got to do this. We got to do this. And here we are. And we thought it would be a really good idea to have this first podcast kind of explain where we're going and why we're here and why is it at the table. And only Mari could really dig all that out of me. So we're here, show producer and chef with a lot to say.
Absolutely. So, one of the things that, we were talking about was, introducing you. You're the host. You're the voice behind the mic. You are the chef of all chefs.
That's like a whole nother show. You're the voice behind the mic.
And I think, I know you so well. We've had an amazing friendship for over 20 years. Our kids grew up together. I, moved here to the Temecula Valley many, many years ago. I've since moved away, but you were the first person that I met and we became friends. And our kid and your daughter was my, same age, all that stuff. We are kids pulling into the parking lot at, preschool and then elementary school. And we just developed this great friendship. And so it's exciting to fast forward and now we're here and jumping on this podcast, right? Along with everybody else. It's better late than never.
Better late than never to the table.
Totally. But there's so much to talk about and it's exciting. And I think, I wanted to kind of turn the table a little bit and just put you in the hot seat and let people get to know who you are. So I can maybe ask you a few questions and
oh God,
let's see who you are and what this is about and we'll figure this out together. Yeah.
All right. So a little surprise fire questioning.
Yeah. And we'll make it fun.
Yeah. Well, we always have fun together. So here we go.
Yeah.
Let me get more amped up on more coffee. Go ahead. Ask me whatever you want, girl.
Well, one of the most important things is, tell us a little bit about who Leah is, what your upbringing. I know you're a chef. You're an amazing chef.
Oh
my God. I have a million stories about all that. And my kids think you're the greatest thing ever to exist.
Yeah, because you made crap chocolate smoothies and they would leave the house going, Chef, would you please make us a smoothie, whispering to me?
To this day, I remember many, many years ago when my kids were little and we were at your house and you cooked the most simplest thing. And my kids thought that you were this gourmet chef and you literally sliced up apples and you put them in some butter and sort of sauteed those up in butter. And then
sauteed apples that go on top of pancakes.
Yeah, but there was but the kids just scarfed up the apples and you put cinnamon on there. And my kids thought that was it.
Right? Because we both were those hippie mamas who raised our kids.
Oh my gosh.
Sugar, grain-free as much as we could, super clean. And this is 23, 22, 21 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just remember that so vividly, and my kids thought that you were the.
I still have that pan. You brought me right back to that space. Yeah, it's all about cast iron and high heat, baby. Pull sugar out of those apples. That's some fat. Kids are gonna love that.
Totally. Anyway, tell us about you. Tell us about who you are, why you are.
Why you are. Tell us why you are you.
Yes, go.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I'm just going to put a little label out there really quick, right? Caution.
Oh no. Oh no.
is I am a dork at heart. I am the world's biggest dork. I love humor. My daughter to this day, when she introduces me, says to people, "This is my mom." And just so you know, she has the same sense of humor as like a 10 to 12-year-old boy. And I'm like, well, because I like fart jokes, like how, like, because I like dad humor, like how. So anyway, there's that's around me, and I guess it's that innocence of just really wanting people to enjoy themselves, and I guess that's why I got into cooking too. And that's such a big question, and I feel like we can answer that as we're talking, because there's so much I think that shapes any human, right? And I mean, I have chefs in my family. My grandfather was a chef. My dad was a farmer and then a butcher, a farmer, and then an engineer. My mom did preserving as I was growing up, and I was there in the kitchen because my mom is a horrible cook. Sorry, Mom, I love you. And she was trying to mess, I remember, with sourdough. And I remember her like putting this big blob of dough on the counter. It's seeping over and going onto the ground. And I'm like, silly putty, right? So I wasn't a help at all with that one. Into, like growing up, like for years on a farm, to like being in the film industry and telling stories, because I wanted to really represent a whole other sect of human beings on our planet, because I don't like injustice. And then there were documentary infatuations, to then traveling through Europe and being in kitchens and cooking through Europe and learning so much, right? And then to moving to this beautiful Temecula Valley that's located in Southern California, gorgeous ag region, my Lord.
Absolutely.
25 years ago, something like that, because I had just had Gabrielle, who's my only and first daughter, Gabrielle Rose. And then I found myself catering and working with some cool people, because this is such an agriculturally rich area. I was so blown away. Even though I had family here, I had a choice to move here, and I moved here. The ag really pulled me in, and the stories around the agriculture of this region and the Native Americans that built this region, that all pulled me in. And then getting into food, and I feel being one of the first people in this valley that truly represented our region agriculturally, and then through food, and then bringing wine and farmers to the table. All of that has shaped this show and so much of who I am. I've grown a lot living here in Temecula. Yeah. It's a small, tight, beautiful community where I have seen firsthand people lifting each other up over and over and over again, not picking on one another, but how can we help? How can we support? How can we be there for you? That's incredible.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. So, and then here I am, at this table with you, right, talking about starting a podcast. Yeah, because it's never too late to do what you really love in life.
Absolutely, that's right. And it's interesting too, because I know you grew up in a very Italian home where everybody was sitting around the table.
Laurie, there was a lot of this.
All of the conversations that were happening,
our hands right now.
Right? Yeah. I mean, and I grew up in a Mexican household where we talked about various things and around the table, and everybody has their version of just, those memories of family and the conversations, and everyone's, having their opinion, everyone's yelling and everyone's laughing, and it's all of it. So that, I think, really contributed to where you are today. Yeah?
100%. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Tell you about the table growing up?
Yeah, about the table.
Oh,
those
my
conversations.
Gosh.
And
it was
your dad and your grandparents and just all that.
There's so much there. So let me, my favorite memory is Terrebonne, Oregon. My parents like to move around a lot. They were adventurers, right? I'm 6 kids in my family. And I think at this point, there was just 2 of us left in the house. Like my older siblings had already gone off to college, and we're in Terrebonne, Oregon. And it was a rule that we always sat at the table for dinner together. Yeah. There was no choice. And then Sundays were more family coming in and friends, right? And it was a place where you got to know the DiBernardos, because the DiBernardos in Oregon, Terrebonne, Oregon, right, in the 70s, from New York. So it was a very interesting time and very colorful people in a small town like this. I've learned that since. But this table represented like really crazy loud conversations and debate. Debate was always allowed at our table, even if my very conservative, American Sicilian father disagreed, it was always allowed. That was always a fair space to share, right? And Pop was tough. So everyone, it's like you were always careful kind of what you said around him, but you weren't at the table. Like it was allowed. And I remember getting that as a little kid, and then just the food and the smells. And I would sit under the table a lot and just listen to everybody, because I was, now it's dinner's done, dessert's done. Now it's time for the kids to go to bed. Not me. I was literally under that table. Yeah. And I have such a memory of, I could smell the sauce. My mom's gravy. She always called it gravy. Marinara. Tomato sauce was gravy from the East Coast. And then oh my gosh. And then the garlic. My dad had this thing with roasting garlic, right? So it's all those smells. It's the energy too, which is why I love hospitality in the restaurant industry. I always get really loud when I start to talk about this. I love a little bit of that chaoticness.
Right.
But then I feel like you just have to mix it with good.
Yeah.
Goodness. Yeah. Right.
Totally. Yeah.
There's so much to share there. So that's just one
I get it. I know. Just but that also then led you into opening up your first restaurant.
Well, it did, because I have cooked almost my entire life, right? And that is no joke. There's a picture of me with my grandmother, which we're trying to find right now, because there was no phones and none of this technology when I grew up. And right. Sometimes photos are hard to find, but I remember it so well with making gnocchi with my grandmother Concetta, which is my mom's mother. And she was very loud and abrasive, and she just flew in from New York, and I had never met her before. And she taught me how to make gnocchi while singing Jingle Bells at the top of her lung, because apparently I was a very quiet, shy little.
No, I don't.
But not after this. I know it's hard for everyone, but this is the story that goes around my family.
It's the urban legend. It's Leah Delyte.
It's a lore, right? But I tell you that because I had honestly cooked my entire life, and I cooked through high school to make extra money. I cooked through college. I cooked through Europe, and all of my friends had always said, when are you going to open a restaurant? I mean, from an early age. I'm like, I don't want to open a restaurant. You know how hard it is to work in kitchens? None of us thinking that it was fabulous then, right? And so I really went away from that. And I went to film school, and I worked in the industry as you did in production for quite some time with this whole, like, I want to represent people. I want to tell stories. Well, we come up from that naturally. But what really pushed me into, or not pushed me, that's terrible description. What guided me, what brought me into food, was having Gabrielle and having this little bean and being out in Temecula. And I was blown away and taken back to my roots by being here, stepping onto farms. Crow's Pass was the first farm I went to. Oh my gosh, it's almost emotional. Meeting Dave and Tina, who are very good friends with Nick and Cindy Palumbo from Palumbo Family Vineyards. These are the first group of people I met out here, and how connected they were to the earth. They're just a little older than me, not too much, but I remember just like, you guys are so freaking cool.
So these are all local farmers.
Well, yeah, local farmer. Crow's Pass was a local one of the first farms out here, right, that I knew of. Right. And then winemakers. And then combined with my brother Lou and his wife, and just having this group of amazing humans, because there weren't a lot of people out here in Temecula when I moved out. I think it was like 30,000. And I'm like, I can't open a restaurant where there's only 30,000 people, but I could do catering, right? So long story short, started catering in the Valley with the tagline, organic, don't panic. And nobody really understood what I was talking about. Then we went to farm to plate. Nobody even still didn't know what I was talking about. But then we opened our first place eat in the downturn economy. And that was what really started and kicked off the farm to plate food movement in this valley and what my sister JoJo, who is my partner in Cultivating Good Inc., which is our corporation that runs Eat Marketplace, which is in Old Town Temecula, right? We're 16 years old, just the restaurant. Catering company's 23 years old. And all of that because I had a little girl. I wanted to bring her up in a really rich, loving community. And I wanted to do something with my life that meant something to her, that I could maybe pass on to her, right? In the way that I was brought up at the table. Yeah. Gigi was brought up at the table.
Yeah. She's amazing.
She is freaking a little tiny, awesome rock star at 23 and running our Hello, You're Welcome in our coffee baked goods shop in Pasadena.
Right. So you have another well, it's not really a restaurant. What do you call it? A bakery? Cafe.
I call it a coffee shop. It is a coffee shop, but it's so hard these days, right? Gigi's like, well, we have good sandwiches, we have baked goods, we have coffee, and there's a tiny little marketplace. But really what G said, and I love this, and I call Gabrielle G Money. Mm-hmm. And she's like, it is a place where people can gather. It is a community. Yeah. It is a hub. And I am the Gertrude Stein of my generation, and everyone has a place at the table. And that is literally what my kid says. So she comes by, it honestly, right?
Yeah. So because of all of this, I know you've won a ton of awards. Like, you are sought after in the Valley. Everyone knows Leah Delyte. And, so tell us a little bit about what you're known for. What awards have you won? You're it here.
First of all, I want to clarify that my full name is Leah Delyte DiBernardo. Yes, it really is Delyte, Delyte. And I'm named after my mom's best friend, Delyte Davis, that we met in Oregon.
Really?
Right? And yes.
I thought it was just like a made up, Hollywood name.
Like a stripper's name?
No, just like a Hollywood name. Like everybody I've met in LA, everybody has a
that
made up name.
That would make me so shallow though, wouldn't it?
No. Well, yes, but I don't know. I thought that was from your old days.
No, it was. So that is truly my name. It's on my birth certificate. Delyte Davis. If you're listening, I love you. I love you so much. She's a light.
And it was spelled the same way?
Delyte. Yeah, I know, right? So what was the question?
So the question was about, you're award winning.
Well, and I am proud of that. And I think as a woman, in my 50s, it's like I'm really owning a lot of the work I've done instead of going, it's like someone saying, oh, that outfit looks really good on you. You're like, oh, stop. No, it doesn't really. And I got it on sale and,
which is something actually. we all do.
Like, why do we do that? So yes, EAT has won Business of the Year, I believe 3 times, Business of the Year. And I have been nominated and have taken home Culinary Champion of the Year twice. Resiliency Award coming out of COVID because how we pivoted and who we helped. And Citizen of the Year, Temecula Valley Chamber of Commerce. Thank you so much to the Chamber. They do so much. And volunteer for Riverside County, Supervisor Chuck Washington. And there's so many others, but these are few that just mean a lot to all of us. It means a lot to my team.
Yeah.
Like the group of humans I get to work with, and then Gabrielle and my family. And it's never one person, I want to say, when you do win something for your craft, when you're awarded, right, from your craft, it is a group of people that are always behind you, lifting you up to be a better person. And that is so not lost on me, Mari.
Yeah.
And I am proud of those.
Yeah.
Because as Snoop said, right? I'm the one who got up in the morning. I'm the one who busted my ass. I'm the one who started my business on $5,000. I'm the one who had my lights shut off and then got them turned back on. So there were there were some really difficult moments, but
sure.
I think the way I was raised and both my parents, Scotty and Mario, man, you don't quit.
Right.
You don't stop. You got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and keep going, kid. There's no excuses. There were never any in my family.
Right.
So,
well, you've been an inspiration to me. That's for sure. And I think, I love cooking myself. And I think though that once I really got to know you and watched you and just through the years, it incented me to really enjoy cooking. Like, and I don't shy away from cooking in butter and beef tallow and all those things that, I wouldn't have known if it wasn't for you. And I love it. It's so, there's just something so soothing about it. And also it's sort of like my love language, right? And the moment somebody walks in the door, it's like, okay, what can I make you? Like
100%.
Right. And it's kind of like how we grew up too, right?
Yeah.
Even if you're not hungry, but no, you got to eat. You got to eat something. We could pack you a lunch and send you on your way. So yeah. So food's really important around
I'm sorry,
our
but that's
family.
so funny that you just said that. I want everyone to hear that. I'm going to pack you a little lunch and send you on your way.
Yes.
You're going to eat something whether you like it or not.
And then always having way too much food. Way too much food.
Too much
You
food.
have a little party and there's like, it's
You can have 3 more
it's a party for 4 and you have enough for like 14. Absolutely. So anyway, so thank you for inspiring me.
No, and I love that. And thank you for sharing that because I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I treasure that.
Yeah.
So important that we share these things with each other.
Absolutely. So like, now we, you have this podcast. We have some amazing guests lined up, which is so exciting. Yeah.
It's really cool.
What kind of like conversations do you want to have with your guests? And how does this podcast fit in with the guests that come on?
That's interesting because I have so much love for human beings and we're all so incredibly different. And I believe that there's space for that. I am not looking for people who are like me, right?
Yeah.
Or agree with me. I want people to come to the table and share their experiences. I want to know a little bit of their heritage. I want to know what moves them, what rocks their world, what they do in their line of work and how that moves other people and moves others around them and how it moves our planet. So really at the table, think about it. You can gather around the table and solve so much, or I suppose not. Mm-hmm. But really when you get people together around food, a lot gets solved.
Absolutely.
And a lot just comes out, inspiration. Mm-hmm. So really being at the table with us and having conversations with our guests is about inspiring others. Mm-hmm. It's about sharing a meal and starting a conversation.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting too, because like any dinner party you go to, or even just, going over someone's house, everybody gathers in the kitchen. It doesn't matter how tiny.
Every catering event.
Tiny kitchen, doesn't matter the size. If there's enough seat, does not matter.
Sorry about that, Mari.
Oh.
We should probably tell everybody, if you hear a little shake like that, we have a studio poodle.
Yeah.
She's my service dog. Her name is Remy, and she is always here shaking and walking around the studio. So I'm so sorry, Mari. But that's you're right. Okay. I have to tell a quick. Okay, so catering, like whenever we do professional jobs, I had to learn, right? We would block off. Don't come in the kitchen. Right. Like we're busy, we're cooking. Because people just want to come in and say hi. Yeah. And then I stopped one day. I was actually at Jerry Cornchar. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, Jerry. And Julie No's house doing an event. And I just stopped and I told the chefs, just move everything. People want to come in because there's joy here.
Yep.
Who cares? Yeah. And it was so obvious that everyone just wanted to be a part of what we were doing too and be a part of the food and come in and talk and say hi. So that's now how we do events. We're like, whatever, you can't get anybody out of the kitchen.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Every party.
Party.
Doesn't matter. Everybody's
professional or not, catered or not.
Yeah. They used to drive me crazy. I used to have a house that had a tiny little kitchen. And, again, because I love to cook and I love all of that, it would drive me crazy that everybody would just come into the kitchen and I was trying to scoot everybody out. But no, everyone just gathered in the kitchen. And kids are sitting on top of the counter and, we made room, however. So this podcast, I kind of want to just go back into it a little bit. There are so many podcasts out there these days.
There are.
And, what sort of like, what gap are we filling in the podcast world? with this show? Where do you think that our listeners would get, what's their takeaway?
Well, I'm not afraid to have provocative conversations. I'm not afraid of healthy debate.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid of people who think differently than me. I embrace that. I celebrate it.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of division. And I think, or not that I think, I want this to be shaped that way. I want this podcast to host that. Right?
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. 100%.
I feel like I just talked backwards and sideways.
No.
Okay.
I think you're spot on. It's exactly it. We're living in a time where, there's just so much uncertainty and division, and everybody's welcome at this table.
No, absolutely. And it's being unapologetic, and it's also being apologetic. Yeah. And what I mean by that is I don't think that we always have to apologize for who we are and our opinions, but you can apologize when you're being an or you're just when you're being wrong, but it's like you don't want to be wrong. You have to keep a certain image. My team at Eat constantly says one of the things that we love about you, and working with a chef may sometimes not always be easy, but they say you're accountable. And then they say another word after that, as you're accountable as F-bomb. And I'm like, okay, well, but I've leaned into that because I think it's important to be accountable, because I wasn't always accountable. So having people on the show, and any of you wonderful humans that are listening, that's one of the things I want to get across. And I'm going to start with me as an example. Yeah. Right. Be accountable.
Absolutely. And that's the thing I love about you, though, too, is you call it how you see it. And you're just authentic. You're authentic. And I admire that. I love that, because oftentimes, we don't get that with people that we run into, or even some of our closest friends. Yeah. Sometimes, I know that if my hair, I came in, I lost my phone today, I'm all over the place, I'm sweating, and you're like, okay, honey, look, we need to powder you up and fix your hair. And I'm grateful for that. I like that. I want that. So I know that our listeners are, anyone that's tuning in is going to get that. They're going to get that from you. And that is, it's so important.
It is important. And just amen to all of that. We're not perfect beings, Mari, right? We're not at all. Yeah. And you can get, we just faced a situation with some fellow women in business, and I decided, you know what? I'm just going to be accountable. I'm just going to take it on, because sometimes when you work with people, you can start to see they are never going to see your way. They're just not. And I could choose to just fight it. And you need to see my way, or I could just let it go and be the bigger person, because if I have a gift to do that, then use it. Right. And I'm not saying I'm better than anyone else at all, but sometimes I do see that situations are not going to resolve, and I just have to go, you know what? I'm just going to let it go, and I'm just going to take it on and say it was me. Yeah. And there's so much beauty to that. And I think as human beings, we've almost boxed ourselves in where we only want to see these four walls. Dude, take the top off. Take the roof off. Bleep that and see in a different way. Look up at the sky. Yeah. Crying out loud.
Absolutely.
God gave us an amazing earth to live on, and he gave us all he or she, such beautiful gifts. So yeah, come on.
Absolutely.
Get outside of your box and your comfort zone. What did I hear this morning? It was so beautiful. You're never going to get into the miracle zone until you get out of your comfort zone. There we go.
Yeah. I know it can be uncomfortable sometimes in situations, 100%. But that's where growth happens.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, for sure.
It's where love happens, man.
Okay. Well.
Okay. She's like, okay, weirdo. I told you, dork.
So, Leah, tell me something about What's your pet peeve?
Okay, I just took a sip of coffee and almost spit it everywhere. What's my pet peeve?
We all have pet peeves. What's yours?
Oh my gosh.
Or you maybe have many.
My pet peeve is that I have too many pet peeves.
Right?
Okay. My pet peeve is not returning the cart at a grocery store.
Right?
Like, please just go. Really? Come on.
Yeah.
Like, you're complaining that your groceries are getting expensive?
Make the effort.
Yeah, make the effort.
Right. Just take those extra couple steps.
Yeah.
What else? Anything else? Like one of my biggest pet peeves is bagging groceries at a grocery store. Like, oh my gosh.
You want to organize it yourself.
Oh, I totally do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I love that.
And I like one of my favorite things to do is to go to Trader Joe's and bag my own stuff. Like it's like there's something so soothing about it. It's
because you like organization.
Yeah, I do.
Right?
I have to. Yeah.
So another pet peeve, people who don't use their blinkers.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah. I think it's about people that are like, when I'm talking to someone, having a conversation, they start grabbing their phone.
Major pet peeve.
Right? They start looking at their phone.
Maybe I'll start saying pet peeve alert, pet peeve
right?
alert.
We should have like a code word of some sort, right?
It's
pee-pee.
Yeah, pee-pee. There you go. People leaving the bathroom door open when you're peeing.
That's
okay,
right.
Pet peeve. Chewing with your mouth open while we're talking, pet peeve. Slurping, pet peeve. Okay, yeah, we could just go on.
We could,
do
right?
Do I have a positive pet peeve? What would a positive pet peeve be? Oh, I don't know. Whatever. They're all fun and funny.
I don't know. They're kind of funny. They're like whatever. But it's kind of like what you were talking about. It's like there's so many things going on in this world, and we have so many pet peeves, and there's so much. But it's about just going beyond that and just looking beyond it and being positive.
Okay, so I have one. So pet peeve is, I'm going to be honest, owning restaurants and children, we call them free range children, running
there you go.
the restaurant. So I turned it into a positive because I'm all about solutions. I love solutions. You're going to come to the table and you have a negative, bring a positive.
Yeah.
Well, now what I do is I run after them. I pick them up or I race them. I bring them back to the table after giving them a shot of espresso. No, I don't really give them a shot of espresso, but I've made it fun, right? I've made it fun for the parents and for the kids instead of being that place because we kind of were that place for a minute to eat. Yeah. And I had to own that because someone called me out like you're going to be grouchy around children. And I'm like, oh. So anyway, there we go. A pet peeve into a positive.
Yeah. That's
you just
funny.
snorted.
I did. I just snorted.
That's awesome.
I'm also menopausal, so I've got my little fan back here.
Whatever. That's part of life, and everyone needs to suck that one up. And there's a pet peeve. Do not ever ask a woman when she's having a hot flash if she's okay.
Yeah,
we
have them.
Just keep talking.
It's whatever. So if you weren't a chef, if you didn't have a restaurant, you weren't a chef, what would you want to be doing?
Probably educating, be an educator, which I get to do part-time with Mount San Jacinto College, MSJC in Temecula.
That's right.
Right?
You
so
are.
Exploring the culinary arts with an emphasis on regenerative systems, which really stands for regenerative farming and understanding the roots of that and how we integrate that into the classroom with students that want to learn the craft of cooking. So educate.
Yeah.
I would say a politician because I do have the mindset and voice for that, but that's just too much. I'm going to go with educator.
Wow.
I have so much respect for teachers.
Totally. Right?
100%.
Yeah.
We're going to have some on this show.
I want to be a truck driver.
You want to be a truck driver?
There's something soothing about that too. Just getting in your big old truck and hauling stuff across country and all,
I love that.
Oh my gosh.
I so love that about you.
If I wasn't a producer, I would be a truck driver.
Yeah, but then you have to deal with all the tariffs. Okay, skip over that one.
So just a couple more questions. I know we need to wrap up here in just a moment, but what's your hype song? Do you have one? What gets you going?
Okay.
Is there anything?
Okay, well, I really love Bowie. I do like David Bowie a lot. And Zaho I'm going to butcher her name. I'm so sorry. Zaho de Sagaza. She's French, female artist. I'm so sorry if I pronounced her name wrong. I love her. And she does a version of David Bowie's, oh my gosh, name one of his songs. Catch the paper, boy. Things don't really change. I can't sing. Do not mock me. At least I was brave enough to do that.
Wait, then, bye-bye. Oh, God,
this is terrible. I like David Bowie,
God.
but I can't name the song.
I try.
I try. Anyway, so I love her. I love David Bowie.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing around me loving David Bowie, but I turn her song on for inspiration. Or I turn that piece that she did of David Bowie's on, and I love it. And her name is Zaho, then De. So look her up, please, everybody. And I think she was at the Cannes Film Festival where she sang it, and I think it was part of a film. I don't.
Oh, wow!
Right? She's freaking awesome. I love her, and I love that song.
Nice.
So there you go. There's my hype song right now.
Wow. All right.
But I don't have just any one song. I will tell everybody that.
So it's not me singing a David Bowie song then
no,
to you.
I think
That's not going to get you
David
going.
Bowie, I have to now go to a different hype song, Marty.
I have the worst singing voice. So, all right. I know we need to wrap up, and we're getting the wrap up. If listeners want to walk away with something from, one thing from this podcast or one thing about you, what would that be?
That every meal shared is a conversation started.
There you go.
Dude, I think we just found our tagline.
That is the tagline
for the show. Yeah. What did I say? Every meal shared is a conversation started. Jinx on you.
Girl. That's good.
There we go.
That's good.
I think that's not what I think. That's what I would like it to be.
Well, that's amazing.
Because it's connection, right?
Yeah.
It breeds connection, not division. Yeah.
Well,
this has been fun. This has been really fun.
fun.
I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
And you're actually a really good interviewer.
Really?
Yeah, because it's funny because you're like, oh, I don't like to do this.
I am not
be on camera.
I am so not in front of the camera person. I'm a behind the camera person.
And she's beautiful. She's stunning.
I'm all hot and sweaty today.
Yeah, you could be hot and sweaty, but yeah.
and menopausal, but that's okay. But thank you. I'm really excited about this, and I can't wait to bring our guests on. We have we've already, we've got some people lined up, and it's going to be fun.
Can
and
we
exciting.
talk about who any of them are yet? No, not yet. I'm getting the no.
I don't think so.
All right,
because
that's
a we want people to tune in.
Hey, everybody, that's a secret. This is another thing. I said at the top of the show, I'm a bit of a dork. You'll hear a lot of different voices. I'm sorry. I don't know where it comes from. It's just that I'm a dork and I go there sometimes.
Okay. We're all dorks in our own way.
I embrace it. I love it.
Yeah.
I do that with my team at Eat. I'll pop in the morning if someone's not in a good mood and just go right there.
There you go.
Come here.
Probably.
But anyway, hey, I want to thank you for these 23 years of friendship.
Oh my God. Don't make me cry.
Yeah.
I know. It's been amazing.
And always what a blessed friendship we have had, because we had a moment where we had a little thing and we knew how to let it go.
Yeah.
We knew how to use our words and know our hearts of each other.
Yep.
And I feel I'm inspired by you. I feel lifted up as a woman by you. I never, ever feel like any negatives or that you're just saying something to say something. And that is a treasure to have in this life. So thank you, Mari Fuentes.
You're welcome. I feel absolutely the same.
Say it. Leah Delyte DiBernardo.
Leah Delyte DiBernardo.
There you go.
Delyte.
Delyte. Every meal shared is a conversation started. I want to thank our guest today, and I really want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. It means a lot to all of us. You can find us on Instagram at The Table with Leah and anywhere you listen to your podcast. At the Table is produced by the very mighty Studio215. Programming manager, Nate Marriott, our awesome studio manager, Brian Umali, and the gorgeous show producer, Miss Mari Fuentes. Thanks for being here.